Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeannie Dimitriades, and I'm calling this Back Bay Architectural Commission Subcommittee public meeting to order at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. You can participate in this meeting by going to our Zoom meeting link in our agenda posted online at https://www.boston.gov/public-notices//1659-5746 or by calling 646-828-7666 and entering ID number 165-907-7017. You can also submit written comments or questions to backbayac@boston.gov. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting online. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the Back Bay Architectural Commission, the public may access this call through telephone and video conferencing. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comments on applications and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can press star 9 to raise your hand, or you can send your questions to staff via email at backbayac@boston.gov. Public comment will be limited to 2 minutes per person and should be focused on a project's exterior architectural features, which include landscaping. Issues related to use, street traffic, and noise are outside the commission's purview. Okay.
Okay, so we have commissioners present. We have the Violations Committee members, Rob Weintraub and Genia Dimitriadis, and we also have Commissioner Tom High present and staff. We have Sarah Lawton, Preservation Assistant, and myself, Joseph Cornish. Is there anyone here present for 251 Commonwealth Avenue? And I see Mark Lacasse has his hand raised. Mark, are you here representing 251 Commonwealth Avenue?
Yes, I am. Let me
Great.
just.
Okay, before you start, I'm just, Jeannie, do you want to just read what the violation is? And I can just show you. Okay.
So 251 Commonwealth Avenue, the violation is an unapproved alteration to the rooftop balustrade.
Right. And here is an image showing the building without any alteration. And here it is a few months ago. And I believe this is a planter box that's been added to the entire top, but it's certainly altering the design of the balustrade and adding quite a bit of height to it. My staff recommendation is that it be removed and the balustrade restored back to its original appearance.
And if I recall correctly, we reviewed this original application and this was not in it, correct?
Correct. All right, Mark?
Yeah, do you want me to turn my video on? I don't have the ability to do so.
Sure. I'll make you a co-host.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Greetings. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Lacasse, Lacasse Law, 177 Huntington Avenue, representing the owners of this property. I just was retained last week and had an opportunity to go to the property last Wednesday, and then it was the holiday weekend, and I just learned that this had been put back onto today's hearing schedule, and I would like to respectfully ask for a deferral to your next meeting for the purpose of conferring with commission staff to come up with a solution to this, understanding that it indeed was not part of your original approval and constitutes an alteration to the roof line. But it does serve as a handrail up to 42 inches for that deck, which is tucked behind. So rather than immediately remove it and render the deck not usable, if we could come up with an alternative solution that would be approvable, we'd like to explore that and bring that back to you at the next hearing date, if that's possible.
Yeah, I guess we'd be okay with that. Joe, Genia, what do you think?
Yeah, was there a deck behind there? Did we approve a deck?
There was an existing deck, and you approved some of the changes that you see behind the planter box. There's a door that leads to a deck, and then you approved an infill of under the arch. There's a seating area there. And they do have small children, so rather than just remove it and have it be potentially a hazard, we'd like to just 1 month deferral and then come back to you with solutions to replace this with something that is approvable.
And that would be the August 10th hearing, which it's fine with me. It's, you know, and I, you know, as long as I'm working with the applicant and Mark on, you know, having a good solution when we come back in August.
Yeah, I'm ready to make a motion, but just with that said, if in fact there is a deck and the code is 42 inches, I suppose if you remove the planter box and you installed a cast iron black railing that is somehow hidden from the public's view from the other side of the street, that would be an appropriate remedy to this pretty egregious situation. But if you work with staff, I'm sure you'll come up with an amenable solution that meets the guidelines.
That certainly is the goal.
All right, so I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on applications and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can press *9 to raise your hand, or you can send your questions to staff via email at backbayac@boston.gov. Public comment will be limited to 2 minutes per person and should be focused on a project's exterior architectural features, which include landscaping. Issues related to use, street traffic, and noise are outside of the commission's purview. And I believe Matthew Lena has their hand raised.
Matthew, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah. This may be obvious to old hands, but we had a similar problem in my own building. And it took a while to realize, and I guess I want to point out, as I say, what may be obvious, that a big part of the solution was to realize that the deck did not have to be as high as it was, that there were much better ways of building a deck than the old wooden decks involving, I forget the name of the material, but this sort of stuff like they use almost on playgrounds for kids. You can get sometimes 8-10 inches of lowering of the deck. That partly solves the problem. So I just wanted to mention that in case it's not obvious.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else's hand raised.
Don't me.
Okay, so should we move to the motion then?
My motion is to continue this violation to the August hearing.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, Rob Weintraub
Yes.
and Jeannie Demetriadis.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks, Mark. We'll be in touch. We'll set up a meeting.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, so then we are moving on to the next violation, which is 274 Marlborough Street, unapproved masonry work at front garden and entry. Do we have a representative from 274 Marlborough Street?
Yes, if you're here, if you could raise your hand, please, and I will make you a co-host. Is anyone here representing okay.
Could you please identify yourself?
Yep, let me find. Okay, iPhone, can we have your name, please?
Sean Moriarty.
All right, Sean. Jeannie, do you want to just read what the violation is?
Yeah, unapproved masonry work at the front garden and entry of 274 Marlborough Street.
All right, and so here's an image. This is prior to any work taking place. The work that has occurred, the replacement of this stone sidewalk with brick, which is acceptable. It's the one part of the project that is acceptable. The non-historic stair, entry stair stoop has been repaired. It hasn't been removed and rebuilt. However, these garden walls have been removed and rebuilt without a building permit and without an application to the Back Bay Architectural Commission. If this had come in as an application to rebuild the garden wall, I would have said, have you explored restoring it back to its historic appearance? Because this obviously is not a historic garden wall. A stop work order was issued and work continued following the stop work order. I informed the crew on site that, this work may need to be completely removed, and it, it depends on what the decision is the violations committee. I think in my staff comments, I included some historic images that showed there was a simple stone curb here, similar to the neighboring property. And it is my recommendation to approve the brick sidewalk, but to have this inappropriate wall removed and an appropriate fence and curb, stone curb or cast stone curb put into place.
So, yeah, it's concerning that they continued with the work despite a stop work order.
Yes, so Sean, you've muted yourself. I'll make you a co-host, Sean, so you can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. The biggest thing for the continue of work was really the walkway. So it was safe for the tenants to be able to get in and out, because that was their main entrance for in and out. Most of the rest of it was tidying up and cleaning. I think the caps may have been put on the wall. But yeah, the work was done without approval from the historical, so I'm not gonna try and sit here and make any excuses for.
So are you the contractor or the owner? Who are you representing?
The contractor, yes.
Okay, so I think we want it removed. It's pretty clear it shouldn't have been built.
Well, Jeannie, it sounds like it was there before and he restored it, more likely because it was unsafe.
There
But-
was an issue with the whole wall before? Is that what you're saying? He was
Yes,
just saying that the brick
the
wall,
wall was the front garden wall was completely deteriorated, that it was falling out onto the sidewalks. It was falling brick and brick just coming out by hand.
Right, so you made it safe. Are you going to apply to the Architectural Commission for approval for a new, a different design, or to remediate this violation?
Yes, so I've already put in an application, and I'm going to reach out to an architect about having it drawn up to have it done correctly.
Because the staff recommendation is that wall was improperly placed, more than likely before the commission was put into effect. But it looks like it was probably put in the 50s, just judging by its design. The staff recommendation is to remove the wall and put back the brownstone garden curbs and a cast iron railing on top, similar to its neighbors and similar to the historic photos that are in the presentation. So if you're retaining an architect, they can design a new fence that is consistent with the guidelines and the garden curbs.
I think
Okay,
a question I have, Sean, are you saying that you're planning to remove this new wall that was built?
Well, I guess that's the best option here, right? It's
yeah.
the correct option is to remove it and put it back in the brownstone curbing.
Yeah, that would be preferred. Not sure what your application is, but you can always amend it.
I think this is something that the violations committee can take care of without going to,
Okay,
going to the commission. So I think what you could do is you can make a motion to remove the stone wall, to install a stone or cast stone curb and a appropriate fence, and have them come back next month with the appropriate design.
okay.
Yeah, because that's what we've done in the past. We've just kind of.
But the iron fence will have to be approved by the full commission, or
No, you can
We can do it here.
we can do it here. Okay.
Yeah, we've done it before, Robert, and other stuff.
All right. Okay. Well, then I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. All right. Okay, members of the public will now have an opportunity to ask questions, provide public comment on applications and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use a platform, you can press *9 to raise your hand or you can send your questions to staff via email at backbayac@boston.gov. Public comment will be limited to 2 minutes per person and should be focused on a project's exterior architectural features, which include landscaping. Issues related to use, street traffic, and noise are outside the commission's purview. And I believe Lori Thomas has her hand raised.
Hey, Lori, you should be able to mute yourself.
Yes, hi, Laurie Thomas, representing the NAB Architecture Committee, saying that we are strongly supportive of having this brick curbing replaced with appropriate brownstone curbing. As a tree committee co-chair, I'd also like to point out that that looks to me like that garden is a much higher grade than standard because that brick wall has allowed more infill in there. So I hope as you're considering solutions, you'll be consulting with an arborist to make sure that the tree isn't undergoing any kind of damage if you're removing a lot of topsoil. Thank you.
Okay. And do we have any other comments? I'm not seeing any other raised hands.
No, I'm not either.
Okay, so we can move back to Robert for the motion.
My motion is to continue this violation to the August meeting to give the contractor / owner enough time to present a design which includes the staff recommendation of removal of the existing knee wall, installation of brownstone curbing consistent with the neighbors, and installation of a black iron fence to be approved by the violations committee at the next meeting.
A second.
Okay. Rob Weintraub
Yes.
and Jeannie Dimitriadis.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was our last piece of business for the violations committee. So we will pause and reconvene at 5. And I know Commissioner Weintraub, you're going to be leaving us. So
Yes.
we'll see you in August.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
You're pausing the recording.